In this sessions we are discussing max questions, that is quantitative aptitude. So quantitative aptitude are often asking some other questions that is not related to data interpretations. Some basic fact questions related to max. So let us start with one small topic. And in this session we are talking about clock problems. So before starting with topics, take a pen and a paper, be ready with you, because we are doing some calculations and you have to do it your own. So in this question we are talking about some clock related problems. So as we all know, clock definitely have a dial. So in this dial you can see 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise there are 12 gaps, 1, 2, 3 likewise, right? So there are 12 gaps in a dial. So if you consider this dial, and we know that this dial is a circle. So what is the full angle of a circle? The full angle of a circle is 360 degree. Okay. So if the full angle of the circle is 360, then what about one gap? So the point is, we know that there are 12 gaps in this dial. So 12 gaps, the total angle is 360 degree. If the angle of 12 gaps is 360 degree, what is the angle of one gap? One gap is equal to 360 degree divided by 12, that is one gap is equal to 30 degree. So this is the first lesson you have to understand when you deal with the clock problems. Very important point. So what is the gap? Between 1 and 2, the angle is 30 degree. Between 2 and 3, the angle is 30 degree. Between 3 and 4, the angle is 30 degree. Likewise, if we add all the 12 gaps, you will get 360 degree, which is the angle of a circle. I think this point is very clear. Okay, so keep this point in mind. One gap, 30 degree. This is the highlight. This is a trick for us to solve this question. So second point. As we all know, one gap means 1 hour. So 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, 3 to 4, it's 1 hour, representing 1 hour. So one gap is 1 hour. So 1 hour means 360 minutes. So we can say that one gap is 60 minutes. We already find that one gap is 30 degree. That means what? 60 minutes is equal to 30 degree. Okay. So what is the gap between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3? The gap is 30 degree. And inside that gap, if we find each minute, so likewise we have between 2 and 3. That means in 1 hour you can find 60 minutes are there. So 60 minutes is representing 30 degree. So 60 minutes is equal to 30 degree. So you can find that 1 minute equal to 30 by 60, that is half degree. So this is the second highlight point, or the second important lesson for solving clock problems. The first point is one gap 30 degree. Second point is 1 minute half degree. So if you are clear about these dials and the angles, then we can start with the next point. Next lesson. So let's start I will explain with this example. Find the angle between minute hand and hour hand of a clock at 2:20 a.m. As you can see, the time is 2:20, not 2, not 3, it is 2:20. So one gap is equal to 30 degree, we know this, and 1 minute is equal to half degree. That's also clear for us right now. So let's start. So before dealing with this one, we have to be little know-how about the mechanism of a clock. So definitely clock with the dials, minute hand and hour hand. So as you can see here, minute hand is longer and hour hand is smaller. Okay, so the blue color is hour hand and the gray color is minute hand. So the time is, if the time is 2 o'clock, okay, so it look like this, and the minute hand will slowly moves from 12 to 1, then 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, like that. So when the minute hand is moving from 12 to 4, definitely the hour hand will also move accordingly. So because the minute hand and hour hand are connected each other, so if the minute hand is moving from 12 to 4, that means 20 minutes movements. So 20 minutes movement will definitely affect the hour hand. Hour hand will also slightly move. Okay, as you can see in this figure. So initially at 2 o'clock, the minute hand moved from 12 to 4. Correspondingly, the hour hand moved from the dial 2 towards some distance away from 2. So that means what? The hour hand, that means the short hand moves from 2, that is the yellow line, and it is now in the red line. So there is a gap between the yellow line and the red line, right? Okay. So the gap between the yellow line and the red line is the result of the movement of the hour hand or the short hand. So the gap between the yellow line and the red line is the result of the movement of the hour hand, that is the short hand. So why the short hand moved? Short hand just moved from 2, that means from yellow to the red line, just because of the movement of the minute hand. So movement of the minute hand is from 12 to 4. So 12 to 4 movement affected the movement of the hour hand from yellow to red line. So if the concept is clear, so you have to understand one point: minute hand will move or rotate in clockwise movement. Simultaneously, with respect to that movement, our hand will also slowly move. This is the mechanism of a clock. So what you have to find is, you have to find the angle between the red line and the blue line. Okay, or the angle between the hour hand and the minute hand. So I think the mechanism is clear for you. This is very important. So let's discuss. The question is, time is 2:20. As you can see in this figure, the minute hand is correctly on 4 and our hand is slightly away from the reference 2. So our hand means the short hand. So short hand was initially at yellow line, now it is at red line. That means it is little away from the 2. So what do you have to find first? We have to find first what is the angle between this yellow line and the red line. So we know that the movement of the hour hand from yellow line to the red line is the result of the movement of the minute hand. So how long the long hand or the minute hand moves? It's 20 minutes movements. So we know that 1 minute is half degree. So our hand moved about 20 minutes just a result of the movement of the minute hand. So our hand moves from the yellow line to the red line. So that movement is equal to 20 minutes movement of the minute hand. If that gap is 20-minute movement, we know that 1 minute is half degree. So 20-minute movement is 20 into half, that is 10 degree. So that means what? That gap is simply 10 degree. I repeat this step again, listen to me carefully. Minute hand moves 20 minutes. So if the minute hand moves 20 minutes, definitely our hand will also move according to that 20 minutes. As you can see in this figure, minute hand moves from 12 to it reaches at correctly 4. Similarly, our hand moves from 2 and little away from 2. In other words, moves from yellow line to now it is on red line. So there is a gap between yellow line and red line. So what is that gap? That gap is the result of 20 minutes. So we know that 1 minute is half degree. So 20 minutes is 20 into half degree. So 20 into half degree is 10 degree. So that means that gap between yellow line and red line is clearly 10 degree. Okay. So that is very clear. So now I draw a green line. If I ask you what is the gap between 2 and 3 or yellow line and the green line, then you can simply say that it is one gap. So one gap we know that it is 30 degree. If one gap is 30 degree, then the rest of this angle is remaining angle is 30 minus 10 degree. Because we find the angle between yellow and red, that is 10 degree. And we know the angle between yellow and green, that is one gap, that is 30 degree. So what is the angle between the red line and the green line? So it is 30 minus the 10, so the angle is 20 degree. So if you find the angle between the green line or the 3 and the movement of the hour hand, that is the red line, you find that it is 20 degree. So now the next step, what is the angle between 3 and 4? So that is one gap. So one gap is equal to, definitely we know that it is 30 degree. If one gap is 30 degree and the rest is 20, so what is the final answer? So answer is 30 plus 20, it is 50. So 50 degree is the angle between hour hand and minute hand if the time is 2:20. Okay, so I think these points are clear to you. Close clearly, use your pen and paper for solving it, and always draw a dial before you solving every questions. I will explain with one more question. Find the angle between minute hand and the hour hand of a clock at 3:10 a.m. So time is 3:10. Okay, so one gap is equal to 30 degree. We know this, and 1 minute equal to half degree. That's also clear for us. So let's start with this one. So time is 3:10. So we definitely know that 3:10 means our hand will never correctly on 3. It is slightly away from 3. And 3:10, so that means what? The minute hand will be directly at 2. So the figure dial is correct. So I have to draw a line like this. Okay, and I need to find the gap between the yellow line and the red line. So yellow line and the red line, that is the movement of the hour hand, is a result of 10-minute movement of the minute hand. So the movement of hour hand is the result of the 10-minute movement of the minute hand. So the gap between the yellow line and the red line is just because of 10 minute. So we know that 1 minute is half degree. So 10 minute equal to 10 into half, that is 5 degree. So that means the gap between the yellow line and red is 5. And the gap between 2 and 3, we know that it is very clear, one gap. So one gap is 30. So what is the total angle between the blue line and the red line? It is 30 plus that small gap, 5 degree. So the final answer is 30 plus 5 degree, 35 degree. Okay, after solving 1 or 2 or 3 questions, it will be little more easier for you. And always remember, one gap is equal to 30 degree and 1 minute equal to half degree. And when you, before solving any questions, you have to draw a dial and find the movement of the hour hand from the reference line. Okay, so this is the topics of clock. Go through the videos again and clarify it. Any doubt, let me know. See you in the next sessions.